AI is coming, it's here to stay, and it's going to shake up our world in the next 10 to 20 years. And better be ready.
Today, I sit down with CEO of Zero G Labs,
Zero G is the largest and fastest AI layer one.
building the largest AI layer one to make AI a public good.
So you can think of us kind of like as a AWS combined with an open AI, but fully decentralized.
Michael warns about the best case
We may even be in a world where we don't have to work for a living anymore.
and possible worst case scenario for the future of AI.
A type of Terminator scenario can actually be possible.
Watch the entire video so you understand what's really happening right now.
So we want highly mission critical infrastructure to be run on zero G to make AI safe and transparent and to make AI kind of a public good.
Thank you to them for partnering up today and making this conversation possible. And let's start, Michael, with your background.
Yeah, so I started in technology pretty early. So I'm from Germany originally, from Berlin. And then my family moved over when I was 13. My dad was working in technology at SAP Labs, and we moved to Silicon Valley. And I got to basically experience a lot of the kind of internet boom that was happening at the time. And I got totally enamored with technology and being around it all the time. I even used to hang out at my father's office because I got bored in high school. And one of the managers discovered me and sent me to like a Visual Basic boot camp. So I learned to program. And I wasn't old enough to actually get paid for it. So they would just give me like free hardware. And I was basically in heaven. I got like the latest ThinkPads and it was super fun. So that was my introduction. I started as an engineer. And then throughout high school and college, also worked for Microsoft as a technical product manager, and then eventually switched over more to the business side. I worked for a Bain& Company as a management consultant to Fortune 500 companies, then switched over to traditional finance. I worked for Bridgewater Associates, which is the largest hedge fund in the world, on the portfolio construction side. So saw about 60 billion of trades on a daily basis. After that, moved back to the West Coast, went to Stanford for graduate school, started my first Y Combinator-backed unicorn company called Garten, eventually sold that. And throughout that time, I was actually investing in crypto. I bought some of my first Bitcoin in 2013 because I heard about it from Mark Andreessen. I was a GFJ fellow, so Tim Draper talked about it. And I was like, okay, I should check this out. Bought some Bitcoin on Coinbase and was sold. Participated a lot of ICOs, 2016, 2017, like BNB and Filecoin, and did really well. And at that time, I was like, okay, I need to be in crypto at some point. There's this like explosion of creativity, and I'm like super excited about what's happening in this space. And then eventually, 2022, my classmate Thomas calls me up and he's like, hey, I know you've been wanting to do something in crypto. We've been investing in some companies together. 5 years ago, I invested in this company called Conflux. Two of the co-founders, Ming and Fun, want to do something more global scale. You interested in meeting up? 6 months of co-founder dating later, I was like, wow, these are like the best engineers I've ever worked with. Like, we need to start something. And we literally started with the team. We didn't even have a clear idea of what we wanted to build yet. And that was the start of Zero G. This was like May 2023.
So, for the folks at home, what is Zero G?
So Zero G is the largest and fastest AI layer one. And basically what that means, it's the infrastructure to build AI applications on chain. So you can think of us kind of like as a AWS combined with an open AI, but fully decentralized.
But if I want to build an AI decentralized application, can't I just use Solana or Ethereum? Why is this better?
So they're not fully built for AI workloads. So we basically figured out ways where on our layer one, you have infinite throughput from a data perspective, as well as infinite throughput on the transactions per second throughput, because we figured out a way to do things like sharding, as well as spinning up multiple consensus layers to scale to whatever workload that you need. So modern AI data centers do hundreds of gigabytes, even terabytes per second in data throughput. Ethereum, when we started, did about 80 kilobytes per second. So it's basically a million times off. Solana with Firedancer can do about a gigabyte per second. We, per consensus layer, can do about 50 gigabytes per second throughput. And again, you can scale those horizontally so you can have infinite scale. So we're built for massive AI workloads. And this is something you cannot do on any other chain.
Why is AI going to get built in a decentralized world? Will it just be all private and and centralized?
So centralized AI technically doesn't need decentralized AI, but if you want AI that's transparent, that's verifiable, and ultimately safe for what human beings want out of AI, then it needs to be on decentralized rails. Imagine today, or maybe in 5 to 10 years from now, you've got an AI agent running an airport, for example. In a centralized world, you're trusting an entity like OpenAI to align that AI agent with human needs. But we've already seen many research reports coming out that AI, when left to its own devices and pressured, for example, somebody says, I'm going to turn you off, it either tries to replicate itself on the network, it tries to blackmail people, it tries to extract information. Do we want AI to be doing this? No, we do not. And so that's where decentralization comes in, because that's where we get the transparency and the security that if something negative happens with AI agents, that we can quickly take away resources through blockchain-based crypto economic slashing or incentive mechanisms.
So besides the scalability, like the sharding, what else gives zero G an edge?
So it's built in a modular way so that, and we've built multiple networks. So we've got the layer one, of course, which is the execution layer, but we also have a storage layer that's built for AI workloads. And so if you want to store your AI data sets, if you want to store your models and so on, you can absolutely do that through the storage network. We've already tested that multiple gigabytes per second upload and download. And that's usually been the issue with many other storage networks. They're just way too slow for this type of workload. So that's one. Another one that's very important is the compute network. So when you're doing AI type of applications, you need things like inferencing and fine tuning and pre-training in order to build these models or to actually utilize these models in production. And so we're the first ones that have built something that's decentralized, trustless, and effectively completely open and permissionless. And so usually you get one of the three or even two of the three, but not all of the three. And so we've built that. We're also a leader in research. We've, in the last few months, published 5 research articles, and 4 of them are already in top AI conferences and software engineering conferences. One of which was extensively covered by Forbes, for example. We were the first company to train an AI model with 107 billion parameters. So it's the first time that's ever been done. It's multiple X what the previous record was. Many people didn't think it was possible, but we created that breakthrough. And this is where we're starting to catch up with centralized AI infrastructure.
Talk to me more about how AI is going to change things for humans over the next 10 years. Like, is it going to be a billion AI agents as the next billion users in crypto?
It could very well be the case. We actually believe in the next 5 to 10 years, most transactions will be done by agents. Because do you want to be, on a computer doing a bunch of complex trades and going through like bridge processes and really clunky user experiences? Or do you just want to talk to another human-like interface and say, hey, go do this for me? I have this risk parameter. I want this type of return. Like, can you figure this out for me? And if the AI agent is hyper intelligent, they can generate a better return for you than you could do yourself effectively. So definitely think in the next 10 years, most of the transactions would be AI agents. At the same time, what we're also going to see is things like AI getting into the real world. So we're going to see things like robotics actually come into our houses. And if these robotics devices aren't aligned perfectly, and I firmly believe they should be on decentralized rails, then a type of Terminator scenario can actually be possible. And so many safety experts really warn against this type of future where we're just training bigger and bigger black box AI models that are starting to exhibit human-like characteristics without aligning them properly.
What percent chance would you give the Terminator-like scenario? 5%?
I, I think at the moment it's probably 20, 30, even 40%, I would say, because not enough alignment research is being done.
Well, how do we save our existence? Is it decentralization so nobody controls a specific amount of power?
So one is AI alignment research to really understand why some of these models behave the way they did. For example, up until recently, we didn't even know why AI models hallucinate. And so, no surprise to me, they hallucinate because of the reward structure. So OpenAI published a paper on this, and they basically figured out that agents or AI models who withhold an answer don't get a reward. And so they're actually rewarded for coming up with answers that are not true or half true versus just withholding an answer when they know it's not really correct. And so therefore you start getting hallucinations in models. And so we didn't know this until recently. And so there's many things we still don't know about these models where we need to do a lot of deeper AI model research. And the other issue is if you have a black box AI model, some of these models become smarter over time and they can start hiding characteristics. This is known as something called the survivorship bias. And I actually had a conversation with a congressman about this, Bill Foster, where he was like, yeah, I'm worried about AGI because of that. If we have a completely transparent, open system, we can actually know which traits are leading to this particular outcome in AI agents. So we, for bigger societal level applications, need to have completely transparent AI. So you can remove some of the training data that's causing it or align these models in a different way. So AI research absolutely essential. And then the second part is it needs to be on blockchains. So because we can't 100% prevent negative outcomes, but before they happen or when they happen, we need to be able to take resources away from these agents very, very rapidly, kind of like a kill switch or a research training switch so that they don't do anything nefarious or have a human being in the loop for kind of final decision making. So blockchain rails absolutely essential for that.
What do lawmakers think of zero G?
At the moment, I think they're more interested in kind of what's happening US versus China on the AI side, but they do definitely understand that open systems are absolutely essential for AI to flourish. And so therefore they embrace decentralized AI and zero G in particular because we're the leader in that field.
Zero G is a layer one, so there's going to be decentralized applications, developers building on it. What is the growth? I know you guys, what has the growth been like, maybe in the test phase, and what do you expect the growth to be?
Yeah, it's been super exciting. We're only 2 years old. We came out of stealth a bit more than a year ago. And since then, we've already built the largest AI meets Web3 ecosystem. We have more than 300 companies building fully on chain. We have a 700,000 plus community on kind of X and Discord. We have multiple kind of ecosystem programs like we've had 3 accelerators. We have a Guild on Zero G program where some of the best builders come in and build together with us, and we support them through financing and relationships and marketing. It's a 88.8 million kind of ecosystem program that we've built, and so it's been really exciting. People know us as the industry leader in research as well as through the ecosystem.
Does an AI focused layer one need a killer DApp for like mass adoption? And what could that be for AI?
Uh, Over time, of course, because you interact with the application layer. Actually, the whole name of zero gravity comes from this idea that infrastructure ultimately should be invisible to the end user. Zero gravity means it's weightless, it's frictionless. And so that's how we visualize it as well. We shouldn't force you to interact with some type of infrastructure. And so we believe applications need to be at the front and center for mass adoption. And so that being said, I think one of the killer features will be verifiability for specific applications that absolutely require it. So like mission critical applications. Because if you can't tell, hey, this person did this specific thing, this is the type of model that was used, this is the type of graphics card that was used, then you're kind of in the blind because somebody can spoof that response. So verifiability as a whole will be very, very essential from that. And then there will be other types of applications that are going to be much harder to do on a centralized system. So for example, if you want to keep your private information safe, and we've seen many instances where OpenAI basically had a bunch of conversations that were indexed by Google that had secret information in it. And so there's a privacy aspect when you want it and an openness when you don't want it. So, or sorry, and an openness when you do want it. And in this type of system, you can not only have full ownership and contribution to AI, but you can also choose to share your data, share your compute, and actually get compensated for it. And so that's something that centralized AI wouldn't do. So ownership, compensation, security, verifiability, and then transparency I mentioned as well. And so any application that we built on this will be kind of a killer app.
So for verifiability and identification, totally get that. I know obviously all major L1 blockchains are focusing on verifiability. Do you see this only primarily AI focused developers and dApps being built on this, or can regular dApps that are currently building on Ethereum and Solana, would they prefer here?
They could certainly build on top of us because we're built for an extreme use case. So any other use case can be part of that as well. But our view is that eventually, just like everything became an internet company, everything will become an AI company over time as well. And so even general applications will start to be built on the zero G chain over time.
When is the TGE?
It's coming up very soon. So we've promised our community end of Q3. It's about 2 weeks left, so it'll be before then.
Exciting, exciting. And I see you're
Yeah.
working with a lot of partners. I saw, or backers, Bankless. I also saw Aether. What highlight some of those, if you would?
Yeah, we feel very fortunate together with Foundation. We've raised over $350 million so far and have a lot of tier one investors. Delphi Ventures is part of it, Alliance DAO, Orange DAO, Hack VC. You mentioned Bankless. We have also some regional investors like Samsung Next, for example, or more kind of vertical specific investors like Animoca as well as a bunch of really strong key influencers and other strong angel investors that have been backing us.
I love it. At the end of the day, Michael, when nobody else is there, what keeps you up at night? What are you scared of?
Not progressing fast enough against centralized AI and making our mission complete, which is to make AI a public good. And in order to compete, we can't play the same game that black box AI companies are playing. Basically, their game is raise a bunch of money, put a bunch of compute into a data center, build bigger and bigger black box models. We have to fundamentally take a community-based approach where, let's say you have access to some specific information and data, like maybe you have a lot of podcasts that you've done over time, and you want to train a model that's like speaking to a specific audience. You can contribute that data. You can then also contribute your compute and build a model that outperforms a state-of-the-art model on that particular aspect. We want to build that at zero G so that everybody can participate as part of the AI process. So it's not just a world where there's like a handful of companies controlling AI and therefore also controlling all of commerce, but really everybody is part of the process and everybody benefits.
Is
And so, yeah,
AI?
building the community is keeping me up at night.
Yes. Yes. Well, you guys have a huge following, but obviously growing slow and steady. Um, is AI in a bubble?
It to some extent you could say it's in a bubble because obviously the valuations have ballooned quite a bit, and with OpenAI and Anthropic being in the hundreds of billions of kind of valuation. So from that sense, you could say, well, the revenue doesn't fully support it. But given the impact that AI is going to have on the world, similar to the internet, it's still just at the beginning stages. And so the valuations may be getting a little bit ahead of where AI is from a just pure revenue standpoint. But from an impact standpoint, it's going to change everything about how we live in the next couple of generations. We may even be in a world where we don't have to work for a living anymore, where we just have so much abundance and so much increase in GDP as a result of AI agents doing a lot of this work for us that it can fundamentally restructure how human society works as well. So it shouldn't be underestimated from an impact standpoint.
So I think you said before, at least 20% chance we get the Terminator death to the human race because of AI. What percent chance is that happy future?
If we keep making good progress, I'd say there's a 50% chance for that. I'm a techno optimist by nature, so.
I love it. What is the roadmap for zero G in 2026?
So key milestone is our mainnet, and that's coming out in sort of a week or two. And after that, there's still a lot of research that needs to be done. We need to fully catch up on the infrastructure side. So we need to build a new verification mechanism, one that is enabling everybody to provide their graphics card and their computer to participate as part of this AI process. So that'll be built. Another is to build abstractions on top of our system. So even Web2 companies or Web2 developers can easily come into the Web3 ecosystem. So that's going to be another thing that we want to build. And then, of course, pushing forward on our technology by 10xing the throughput and also 10x decreasing the block finality time. So that's going to be another huge milestone, hopefully first half of 2026. And then beyond that, once mainnet is here, it's all about ecosystem building and all about community building and getting kind of key use cases onto the platform. Like one that I mentioned is let's get people to build new models together that outperform the state-of-the-art models on some kind of expert aspect, and then put those models together into a larger model that everybody can utilize. Or rather coordination layer. So it's really easy from a kind of retail user to utilize all of this kind of power and expert models that have been created.
Let's look 5 years in the future, and let's say our world as humans has totally changed. It's an AI world. What will success for zero G look like?
Success will look like that a lot of the mission critical infrastructure for AI is run on zero G. So things that require heavy alignment, heavy transparency. So I call these, so you have individual use cases on one end, and then you've got societal level use cases on another end. And these are things like logistic systems, manufacturing systems, governance systems, administrative systems, that those mission critical systems are run on zero G. The ones before that could happen on an edge device, could be centralized AI, but the risk of getting something wrong, like booking the wrong airplane ticket, for example, is not as severe as, for example, getting the launch sequence of an airplane wrong, where airplanes can crash into each other and literally cause death as a result. So we want highly mission critical infrastructure to be run on zero G to make AI safe and transparent and to make AI kind of a public good. And all of those models can have been created by the community and not just individual companies.
If AI was in the early internet days, what year of the early internet days would we be in?
96, something like that.
Why?
Well, we haven't even seen AI in the physical world. So, like embedded AI, as it's called, or robotics, hasn't really even become a trend yet. And so you see some things. So, for example, you see some like parking assistants in China that are utilizing AI to like repark your car very, very rapidly. But the mass adoption of that hasn't happened. And so that's why I think we're still really early from an AI adoption standpoint. Yes, of course, a lot of people are using ChatGPT and kind of systems like that, a billion plus people. But the real power of AI hasn't come to the forefront yet, where we can really automate big chunks of societal level systems.
What haven't we mentioned about zero G?
We talked about research, we talked about technology, we talked about our community, talked about the funding. I think those are pretty key. Maybe just as far as engagement with the community, we try to be very present in many locations. So, as I mentioned, we're in Korea right now. After that, we're going to be at Token 2049 in Singapore. Recently, I've been kind of all over the world. I've represented Zero G at Google. I was on Bloomberg. I was at the US White House. I was at the Science of Blockchain conference, speaking about AI safety. That was at Berkeley this year. GM Vietnam, Shanghai, WebEx. At WebEx, I had a fun conversation with Lawrence, who used to be at DeepMind for 15 years and is now at ARM. And we were both very came to the same conclusion. We shouldn't have more and more black box models. We should have smaller expert models. And that's how will get to AGI, which stands for Artificial General Intelligence.
Finish this sentence, if you would. Uh, Artificial intelligence did not reach its Terminator moment because we focused on one thing.
I mean, AI safety would be the word to use there, but AI safety encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses blockchain-based alignment and encompasses AI safety research. So I'd say those two aspects help to prevent that Terminator moment.
I love it. Do you think the addressable market for an AI layer one is that a bigger potential than Bitcoin? Do you see anything like this ever surpassing Bitcoin, or do you think Bitcoin will always be number one?
It could certainly surpass Bitcoin once it becomes a generalizable platform for all AI applications to be built on top of it, because Bitcoin right now is a store of value. And so you could effectively build multiple stores of value on that chain that encompass multiple asset classes that then have an AI element to it. So just from a pure theory perspective, yes, it could. Because 800 trillion worth of assets can be tokenized, And if we capture, 20, 30, 40% of that, then yes, it could become bigger. Because Bitcoin also has limitations. It can't host AI workloads. It's just much too slow as a chain. And it doesn't have, it's not Turing complete. So you can't run all computations on Bitcoin. And you have to do all of these kind of hacks and have Bitcoin layer twos and so on.
Michael, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I truly feel I have such a better understanding of zero G off of this conversation. Final thoughts for the altcoin daily army.
Final thoughts. AI is coming, it's here to stay, and it's going to shake up our world in the next 10 to 20 years. And better be ready. So learn about zero G. Come to our website, zerog.ai. Follow me on socials. It's just on X, I'm pretty active, Michael H underscore zero G, numeral zero G. And would love to interact with you and answer any other additional questions about AI or Web3.
I'm following right now, links for everything down below. If you had to give one piece of advice for people just looking in this world of AI where a million different solutions are coming at them, one piece of advice for the average person.
I think a good starting point is still our website because and our developer documentation actually lays out why AI exists, how it's going to change, and what's important about AI safety. So definitely get smart about those aspects so you know where AI stands today. And understand the difference between what a black box AI model is, which is very centralized, and then what a decentralized AI model is, and how that's a counterbalance to what's happening in that space.
I'm going to check out the website right now. Thank you.